Yo, what's up, guys? Jairus here, and welcome to another episode of Jairus Inspires podcast. So, my today's guest is very special, but before we start, I just want to clarify, special to all my Filipino viewers out there. My next guest is not
Joko.
he's not Joko. No, I just want to make clear, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to make clear. He's not Joko.
No.
That was your joke, bro. No, that was your joke.
All the time.
I saw it on your Instagram. First post. I'm not Joko. Like
I'm not
I
Joko.
like so much, bro. The first 2 seconds, I'm like, I'm not Joko, and you killed already the stereotype. Like right away.
I get it all the time. Once people find out that I'm half Filipino, they're like, oh, ano ba? Joko, huh? I'm like,
With the
No.
Filipino accent.
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a fun episode, man. Wow. Well, to all my non-Filipino viewers, Jokoy is a famous Filipino comedian. He even, in fact, hosted the last Miss Universe
that's right.
pageant. And you resemble Jokoy a
I-
lot, man.
I get all the time. I said, listen, I may not have his money, but I may slightly be better looking than Joko.
Oh, yeah.
No offense, Joe. I love
Yeah.
you, brother, but no.
And also, probably a sense of humor.
yeah.
I can see you have it. I mean, all Filipinos, we have this kind of sense of humor.
We all make
Yeah.
fun of our moms. We all make fun of how the food, what we brought to lunch. No, everything.
Bro.
That's why people love Joe Coy, because it's like,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how I grew up.
But not my mom, though. My mom would kill me, bro. If I make fun of my mom, bro,
Yeah.
I'm dead, bro. To be honest. Okay, so my special guest is Coach Hernando, right?
Hernando, but they call me H, but yeah.
Coach H. Okay,
Coach H, yep.
Coach Hernando, I'll give you the floor. Introduce yourself. Yeah, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Wow. Well, first of all, I'm excited to be here. This is amazing. I love your setup, man.
Thank
I
you.
saw it on Instagram and I was like, yo, I need to be on that podcast. Plain and simple, man. But no, so it's just 4 months now here in Dubai.
Wow.
I was hired as the technical director by the NBA to run the NBA basketball school, so which is why I got here to Dubai. Get a phone call in March from the NBA, like, hey, man, what are you doing? I said,
Okay.
nothing. They said, would you be interested in a technical director job? I had no idea what that meant, but I said, yeah, let's do it. Now, the reason why they called, I have a long history in coaching. I coached basketball in 5 different countries, including Philippines, Japan, New Zealand. I was a coach at Duke University, a pretty well-known basketball school.
Oh my God, bro.
I was at University of Illinois. I had my own program, William Jessup. So basketball was with the Celtics and their NBA G League team. So like basketball has sort of been the base of everything. And then from there, I do sports production work. I part own of a company called Game Changing Films where we do sports production. So if any viewers have ever seen the movie Coach Carter with Samuel Jackson,
Oh my God.
that was my first film. So I choreograph, coordinate, I work with the actors.
Wow.
And then done, I think about 13, 14 movies, a few TV shows. So then I ended up being an actor. When I say actor, it's loosely, man. I'm usually like a referee, a coach. I'm not good enough. They don't want this face that long on the camera, man. So it's been with that. And then through all that, then I work with organizations on how they lead. So I have a company called Be Contagious Leadership. We consult with companies, players, teams.
Wow.
And like we were talking about, I had my own podcast before, the Be Contagious
Yeah.
Leadership Experience. Just a bit of everything, man. I really believe that in life, you have one life, right? So how many things can you really, really get done in your bucket list
That's
and
true.
enjoy it? And hopefully, that's why I love your podcast about inspiring people.
Yeah.
And we're here to inspire because
Exactly.
people need it, man.
Yes. Like I told you, it's not about going viral.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's about inspiring, and that's 2 different things. If you want to go viral, you have to. I mean, you have to talk about all the shit you can think of, right? But inspiring people, you have to go deep.
Yeah,
right?
no, you
Yeah.
do.
And then when you texted me, I was like, okay, there's something really interesting in it. Sports, like this is my first sports related topic. But I like also the way you create, because you create content, and I like the value that you're giving. So that's what I always say to my followers. Like when you create content, always try to give value.
Yeah.
Don't just show off. Don't just show that this is me, this is what I do.
Right.
Give value. Like teach lessons or vlog your journey. Share experiences, and that's what you're really doing really well.
Well, man, I appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I always say, like, one part of my life looks great, but the other part, which is really what has defined me, is, I got divorced 10 years ago. I do have 2 kids. My son's Preston. He's 24. My daughter's 21.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 48. I'm 40.
Get out, bro. Get out. We're done. Let's go home. Wait. I'm home. Let's go home. Bro, 48.
48, man. This is that Filipino skin, I guess.
Dude, I just turned 39, 39 2 days ago, and I have a bad back, bro.
No, man.
Bad
We are
back.
strong, brother. We are strong. We are strong. But it's like all these things shape us, man. I've been turned down by jobs. I've been told no. I've been in numerous bad relationships, right? But it shapes you to who you are. And the reality is I like creating content. I like inspiring people because really it's a reminder of what I need to do better, what I need to do to excel in what I'm doing every single day.
I like that. I like that. We had same mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to touch now on your basketball journey. So I mean, obviously Filipino. Yeah, we love basketball. So just how do you started playing these sports that we both love? How
Yeah.
did you get started with it?
No, I grew up in Los Angeles, and you just play a variety of different sports, right? So when you're playing sports, you're trying to gravitate to what it is. And for me, it was basketball. And to be honest, I wasn't a very good basketball player when I was little. I mean, I'd argue that I wasn't a very good basketball player, period. Yeah. But you get better, you get better, you get better. I love the teamwork aspect of it. And then I love playing, but I really, I don't want to say I loved coaching, but I love telling people what to do. Like when you're young, like you're like, hey, you go there, you go there. And I was a point guard, so I'm dribbling, you cut. Hey, we can do this, we can make that shot. Like that stuff I really, really enjoy.
You're more of a leader.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my mind, but I didn't know how to lead, right? Coaches were yelling at me all the time, so I thought how you led was exactly that way. So you just learn over time. But then through basketball, what I found is that, right, we all have a passion. And how do you take your passion? How do you take that? For me, it's sports, it's basketball, it's coaching, but then how do you expand it into something that you could really make an impact and help as many people as you can? And that's kind of, like I look at my basketball career now, it's not about the wins and losses. In fact, I don't remember all the wins. I remember the losses, but I don't remember all the wins. But I remember my teammates, I remember my other coaches, I remember those things, those people, because that's what counts.
Yeah. Well, one of the key takeaway from what you said is you don't have to be the best to be successful. Right. You don't have to be the best. And that's what a lot of people starting out, they're trying to be the best. Like they're trying so hard to be the best. But sometimes in my situation, I found myself how to be unique, how to separate myself. I'm not I don't consider me the best, but a lot of my followers do. But for me, I think my photography wasn't my biggest strength because I started posting pictures on my Instagram. That's how I got my followers. I was posting landscape pictures, sunset, but then it was about my character, my personality, my humor.
Yeah.
And then when I figured it out, that was like, that's it. I use and abuse my personality in all my content. That you just have to find what's unique in you. You don't have to try to be the best. I mean, it's good to be the best. Like if you're Michael Jordan, just be the best man. Right? But you don't have to.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I think you touch on a really big part because some people are trying to be the best, like you said. And what that causes so much pressure, so much anxiety in somebody. So I would tell my players, like when you look at someone, like let's say your greatest hero, right? Or someone you want to meet, they're at the top of basically like your apex, the triangle. They're at the top. But when we put someone at the top, we put them at a level that they're unreachable, unattainable.
Sure.
Right? So now mentally we're like, we can never get there. We can't get there. But what if that person does two things better than you or me, right? Those two things is what put them above the top. So now what can I do? What can you do? Two things better that can get you closer. And now you're no longer in awe. You're more like a mutual respect, like, yo, I can do this. Like I can get there, right? Mixing in your humor, mixing your personality.
That's true.
And then you may not get to where you thought you would be, but you'll get to somewhere that is better and that was gifted to you on where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. I like that. Okay, so I wanna. Okay, so you're playing basketball for your whole life. What moment did you realize that this is what I want to do in my career? Because a lot of sports people, they do it as a hobby.
Right.
Like they never thought of this. Like if they didn't go professional athlete, they will just work 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, right.
Like how did you transform or transition to playing basketball into doing it as a business, as a career?
Well, I mean, the first thing is I didn't listen to my parents. I mean, my dad was a mechanical engineer.
Or you would be a nurse.
Yeah, or exactly. My mom was like, mijo, why aren't you a nurse? In fact,
You're sounding like joking now.
yeah. In fact, when I was coaching at Duke, right? I was coaching at a nice title. We're on TV, everything. She goes, Junior, huh? Why aren't you a nurse? You should. It's not too late. It's not. I'm like, Mom, I'm not being a nurse. All right, like it's over. It's done. But there was that sort of rebellion thing that you're saying, hey, I believe in myself. Not that my parents don't believe me. They only believe me in a certain way to a certain level on how they had belief in their life. So I really wanted to get into coaching, as I mentioned, because I like telling people what to do. So I thought putting on a suit, walking up and down the sideline, screaming at the referees, like I thought that was coaching. And the reality is I didn't want a real job. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know all the work that needs to be put into coaching. Okay. So I was like, I want to do that. So I ended up started working for different coaches. I worked different camps. I tried to be a head coach as soon as possible. All these different things so that I can go and find different levels. And then at the same time too, I got married young. Mm-hmm. I'm divorced now, but I got married young. And
are you available?
Yeah.
No, I mean, we might have some viewers.
Listen, DM me. That's all I'm saying.
I like that. That's
Come on now.
Better be safe, no?
Yeah, it's okay.
DM me also.
Yeah. But it's like you're.
I mean, maybe you have single followers, man. I mean,
it's all right.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
But I wanted to go ahead and do something that I want, even to this age. Like I'm now at my age, I'm like, I want to do what I want to do to really be an example to myself and then to my kids as well too.
Yeah, true. And I also feeling that already, like being 25 years old. I already feel like I'm getting late to the party, so I wanna do a lot as I can, before, especially like this podcast. Like the thing is, when I thinking of something, what else to do aside from Instagram, I think about I want to grow old. And when I die, I wanna leave a legacy. That's the thing. I want something to like people would watch again and again and would learn, would inspire. The thing with Instagram, the problem is it's a short form. Right, it's few seconds, and mostly like comedy skits and stuff, And I was like, podcast, man, I think this would leave a better legacy in my career, in my life. So yeah, that's also one of my view in this podcast. So also I want to learn. I want to learn to speak like you. You're such a great speaker. I'm just starting out, though. I have a humor. I have
no, I love it, man. Yeah. You got a good flow to you.
Exactly.
You got the hand movements, which is so important.
Yeah.
When you're talking, you can talk about nothing, but when you're doing this,
exactly.
Like, yo, this guy, he's saying something important.
You look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. That guy, I gotta listen to that guy.
Okay, so now let's talk about your production, sports production. Yeah. Because man, I'll be honest, I never heard this kind of job before. So that's very interesting to me. So how did you jump from coaching to sports production?
Yeah, so I kind of blended the two. There's a sport called slam ball, which is full contact basketball on trampolines. And it started about 22 years ago. And on that sport, I met Amy McDaniel. And Amy played basketball at Pepperdine University. And she was sort of like the sports coordinator for that show. And it was her and a guy named Mark Ellis. And so we're doing the show Slam Ball. I'm a coach on a sport that no one has ever played before, nor did I ever grow up jumping on trampolines. Okay. So I had to learn how to do all that stuff. About 6 months later, I get a phone call and they say, hey, Hernando, we'd love are you interested in doing some sports film work? We need help on a show. I was like, sure, no problem. They said, all right, come by the office. They got there and the script was for the film Coach Carter that ended up starring Samuel Jackson, Channing Tatum, and all these guys. Yeah. Yeah, all great. So what you do is that you take the script, you take the story, and how do you bring it to life based on the story points of the script? How do you tell a story?
Okay. You're talking about the basketball aspect of the
Correct.
film. Okay.
Correct. Because all we do is just the sports stuff. But when you do the sports stuff, there's a coaching element, meaning there's coaching lines. There's Samuel Jackson played Coach Carter. So how do you take his feeling, his emotions as a coach, how he coaches, how do you translate to the basketball action and how he coaches on screen? So you're helping him, not with his lines, but more of what a coach would say and how they would say it, right? Ooh. And then the basketball players, some are actors who have never played basketball before, so you try to work with them to get better. We had Channing Tatum was one of his first movies ever. And he's a football guy. Really, really good athlete, but a football guy.
American football. Just
American
wanna-
football.
just-
Sorry, not
Yeah,
football
not
here,
clarify.
Dubai.
Yeah, or Dubai.
Yeah. So we had to train. He was one of the actors who trained. And you talk about a guy who was coachable, who wanted to get better. Channing was definitely one of those guys. But you're doing it so that now you're putting the whole story together. And then as time has gone on, worked on movies like The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler, Rebound with Martin Lawrence. Have traveled the world doing both, like coaching, but then also translating it into script. So I started working with Amy and another great person, Jesse, and now we have like this team of people in LA and New York who does sports films all over the world, really. So we help cast, we coordinate, we choreograph, but ultimately it's storytelling. Like for me, I love stories. Right? Stories are everything. That's what makes it impactful.
Sure.
So it's how do we just take that story? So even I'll do a lot of print ad work or commercials for Puma, the brand, right? So you get the sort of the treatment, how it looks like. Now, how do we make this Puma shoe with this NBA player or this football player into the most spectacular action story point in 30 seconds or less, right? Because that's what it is. So that's how it all came together, and we continue to work on it.
How did you get this idea to do this kind of stuff? Like you're coaching, obviously, and then did you just, I don't know, someone receive a call like, hey, can you do this stuff for the film, or do you already have this vision of this kind of business model? Because this is pretty niche. Like this kind of
it's
this
extremely.
right?
No, I mean, I'm not smart enough to ever come up with those type of ideas. It was more like, hey, Hernando, what are you doing? We need someone to jump on our team for Coach Carter. And then with that, you work with people, you build rapport, and like, hey, we have this other project. I want you to come aboard. Now we have this other project.
Yeah.
And during that time, I had to decide. I was married at the time still, and if I wanted to be in the production world or coaching. Both unstable. Both you never know where the next job was going to come. But I chose coaching, so I ended up coaching for about 8 years. Stayed away from production, and then when I stopped coaching, I jumped back in, knew some people, and worked it together.
Okay, now let's go to your transition from US to Dubai.
Yes.
Here's the thing. See, as far as I know, basketball is like the least played sports here, or even watch. Like, but then you told me NBA brought you here, right? So I just want your point of view about basketball culture here in the UAE, especially. I saw your posts. You're going to different stadiums and you're meeting a lot of players, and you taught a lot of kids. So and from your point of view, what's basketball in this region?
Well, I mean, it's growing. Like the basketball here is growing. There is so much talent. There's so many good academies. There's so many good trainers. Now it's about how do we organize? How do we bring it all together and really bring the best talent of Dubai up, right? And the great thing about being in Dubai, what is it, 75, 80% expats from all over the world. So now you have the different culture, the different basketball languages all together. So it's growing. I mean, football is still the top, right? It's still the top. But basketball is growing. You're seeing different tournaments and everything else. So when the NBA brought me here to run the basketball school, it's more like, how can we really help these young people get better? I'm not so worried about the wins and losses, right? It's about the process. What is our process, or process driven, so that we can get better over time?
Okay.
If we're so worried about results, we're going to have a tough life. If we focus on the process and that journey, we're going to be all right.
Do you think there will be an NBA player that's from UAE in the near future?
I mean, there's close. There's one who is now, where is he playing at? He's playing at a school in the States. He was in the NBA Academy.
Local guy.
What's that?
Local.
Yeah, local. Okay. Yeah. An Emirati player.
Wow.
But off the top of my head, I don't remember his name. I think he's playing Dayton University. I think is where I want to say he's playing. But there's so many different avenues to it. With it, and it's just like the whole conversation with the Philippines, like who's gonna be the first Filipino NBA player, who's gonna be the first player here. But I think with the NBA making a big push in this region, I think the possibilities are endless.
Okay, so Coach, I just want to go deeper.
Now let's go.
Let's go for it. Okay, so I wanna go to your coaching. Okay, what do you think the things that you learned from your coaching career that you managed to apply into your daily life? Like, is there any like valuable lesson that you applied into, like any life lessons as a coach that you can share?
Yeah, fluidity. Fluidity is
never heard of that.
to me the best word, right? Because as people, we're always trying to find stable environments. We're always trying to be comfortable. Yet we tell everybody the only way to improve is to be uncomfortable, right? So why do we constantly look for comfortable points? And I get it. It's how we're raised. It's cultures. I get all that stuff. But in order for us to grow, we need a fluid environment. Now, that doesn't mean you don't plan. That doesn't mean you don't organize. But basketball itself is a fluid game. And too many coaches are trying to control it. Whereas if you allow the beauty of it to continue, that journey of that game, whether it's passing and shooting and cutting and working together with your teammates, it's the same thing applies to life, right? We have to be fluid in what we do. Perfect example. I wanted to be an NBA coach, right? That was my end game. That was my mission. I don't like to use the word goal. That was my mission to be an NBA coach. Well, I never was an NBA coach. I do stuff for the NBA basketball school. I work in the NBA G League. I want to be a high-level Division I basketball coach in the States. Men's coach. I wasn't. I was a high-level women's basketball coach. I wanted to coach in the Euro League. I didn't coach in Euro League. I coached in Philippines, New Zealand, Japan, right? So what I thought my life was going to be, if I didn't accomplish that mission, I'd be frustrated. Mm-hmm. But I was fluid enough to understand that I'm still getting blessings, not what I just thought they were going to look like. So that's like the beauty of life. And when you look at the ocean and the waves crashing and it's going up and down and back and forth, right? That's what life is. A wave crashes on the beach, takes sands with you. So take sand of the ocean. It's just like when I have an experience, I take experiences with me. I learn from there. And then I do it again. Now, it may not be a perfect wave. It may not even be a wave, but I'm moving forward and I'm taking information. I'm getting better. That's the fluidity of life that I believe and we teach our players. And I believe that that's how you have to live.
Okay, another mic drop moment for this podcast, and this is why I love doing this podcast. And I mean to get these inspiring stories, inspiring words from my guests, and wow, that's unbelievable. I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Fluidity. Yeah. Like, let me just write it down. I'm going to use it in my future.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Fluidity.
Wow, Coach, man, you're very inspiring.
Man.
Like, I think there's more. There's more into it. Like, is there anything else that you wanna touch on?
Yeah, I think we talked about fluidity, but it's what I have found is that so many people are so regretful of their life, right? They look at certain things in their life and they're just like, I shouldn't have done that, or that experience, that moment was the turning point in my life. Most of us, unfortunately, focus on the negative turning points in our life, but. Yeah. Turning points are turning points, right? You could either go like a roundabout like they have in Dubai, you go in circles, or you could choose like what lane you want to go. We ultimately get to choose, right?
Sure.
But just because we go down one path, that doesn't mean that path is going to lead to good or bad. It's just going to give you a place in your journey where you get to create your magic, right? Like I tell my kids every day, like, guys, today is another day to create magic. And my kids are like, Dad, what does that mean? I said, it means that you are in control of what can happen. So yes, it's easy to say, hey, only focus on you, only control the controllables. Yeah, that's easy to say. But do you have a process to actually do that? Right? So if I'm able to come in every single day and be like, all right, I'm going to affirm to myself that today will be the best day ever. I don't know what it's going to look like, but today will be the best day ever. Number one, I'm affirming what today is. And number two, I'm having the courage, not the confidence, the courage to say that. Because people believe like you just need confidence. My mom like, Junior, confidence, confidence. I'm like, Mom, you didn't give me confidence. You've been putting me down my whole life. I'm just kidding, Mom. I love you. Okay. But it's like that courage to do it, right? To make the same mistakes over and over again and then grow from it. We cannot be perfect. But we are raised in our parents telling us, if you do that, this will happen. Or if you don't do this, you're not going to get this house. Or if you don't marry the right person, or if you don't, this is life.
Sure.
Like you got to live it. You got to experience it. Or you're just going to be a passenger. Like you get to choose what you want to be.
Wow. I'm going to shut my mouth now. I don't think I could ever top that. But I want to end this episode into this question. Bro, who's your GOAT? who's your basketball god, bro? We might have an
Man.
argument, man. Whoo! Okay,
I
man.
tell you what.
You better say the right one, bro.
I tell you what, I get. So my son and I had this argument. He was talking about that like his GOAT is Michael Jordan. Okay, and for me, I mean, there's so many people. There's Kobe. There's LeBron.
Okay.
I mean, those are probably like the top three. I mean, people talk about Magic Johnson, Kareem, but that's no one remembers those guys.
There's only two.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to say now. You say Jordan because he won all those championships. LeBron because he made all those championship games, and then Kobe because he's just a stone cold. That guy,
killer.
He's a killer.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to say, to me, the greatest of all time is LeBron James.
Yes. Same.
It has to be.
Same. Yeah, LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. It's just hard to argue, especially right now. He's 39.
No, I think
he's
he's
40.
39 gonna be 40.
Yeah.
His son is in the league. I know they're gonna say, well, he's lost all these championship games, but he got. You know how hard is it to get there?
Exactly. just go into the finals.
Yeah.
And he did it in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. He both won in both conferences. Like that was the argument before that you only won in Eastern Conference. Now he did it in Western Conference.
No.
And now he's freaking 13 years old. He's a grandpa.
No.
And now he's still.
You're right.
He's still like at least top 5 players in the
He's
NBA.
insane. You can't with his size, his strength, the longevity of what he's doing. It is, and how he takes care of his body, and the other part too, as a human, right? I think
That's why I really like that.
a good human. He's always having his family involved. Period. You can't say that. Well, I don't want to. It's hard to say about the old school basketball players.
Sure.
LeBron, especially in today's NBA, is all about family, and that is a big part what the NBA is all about. You see with NBA teams, see in locker rooms, wife, kids, all that stuff. They're bringing it together. That's why for me, LeBron is the GOAT.
He's almost the perfect definition of almost a perfect human being.
Yeah.
Right. And what I really like about him is his leadership. That's one thing. Like because for me, I'm a frustrated leader. Like all throughout my life, I wanna have my own team. I wanna be a manager in a company, like having my own team. I never had it. Hence, why I put my own company. Now I'm running like freelancers and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, I managed to experience being a leader, and it's hard. And imagine him every single year, and every player's coming in and out, and still managed to lead everyone, and how he elevates people around him.
Yes.
He's insane. So for me, man, he's the GOAT, man.
We're the same, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the same.
Coach, thank you so much, and you're very inspiring. And I wish we can have more discussion like this. And I wanna meet you in the future, and DM us.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
All right, brother.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.